Would somebody care to tell me why there's a 10-minute segment of a Basil Brush episode where they climb up a Tibetan mountain and encounter a Yeti on the special features of this DVD? I know the character is like a legitimate British icon, and yet somehow I've never seen an episode of it. Until now, that is. So, colour me surprised when I actually found it quite charming. It's pretty funny. So, yeah. Anyway, on with the Doctor Who review. Hello and welcome back to Season 6 of Classic Doctor Who. Last week we began things on a high note with the Dominators. But can we keep up that momentum with this week's story? Let's find out. This is The Mind Robber from 1968. Now, you may remember from my previous review where I mentioned that The Dominators was originally a 6-episode story, shortened to a 5-episode story. Well, as a result, this one had to be extended from 4 to 5 parts. We'll discuss the pacing issues in a little while. The story begins with that damned fluid link from the Daleks acting up again, causing the TARDIS to break down mid-flight and slip out of the space-time continuum? That doesn't sound good. Oh my goodness, the TARDIS is dead. What a monumentous occasion, the likes of which we've never seen and likely never will again. So the gist of the story is, the Doctor, Jamie and Zoe are stranded in this void of nothingness, populated by fantastical creatures and fictional characters from folklore. There's a lot of trippy sci-fi weirdness that keeps popping up everywhere. Like a unicorn? A really well done stop-motion Medusa? Oh, and not to mention the iconic, creepy, giant nutcracker toy soldiers from the DVD cover. They're terrifying, but I love them. If I didn't know any better, I would say that they've found their way back into the Celestial Toymakers domain. I think the pacing does suffer a little bit to begin with. It really felt like the first 2 episodes dragged on a bit, like it seems like it was originally 1 episode that had just been stretched over to 2, culminating in that iconic scene where the TARDIS literally breaks apart. Damn! That is proper blown up now! Oh my goodness! The TARDIS is dead! What a monumentous occasion, the likes of which we've never seen and likely never will again. Oh, shut up Zoe, quit your screaming. It's so annoying. I don't know where else to mention this, but I have to mention it somewhere. Zoe slaps Jamie right hard across the face. Like, you can hear it go. Back on track now. They soon learn that the being in control of this weird place outside of space and time is called the Master. No, not that Master, the iconic villain from all of Doctor Who that's basically the Doctor's #1 rival, aside from the Daleks and the Cybermen and bad writing. But anyway, why would you then go and give the name of the Master to a character that's going to stay around for like the rest of the show's runtime when you've already given it to a character in a previous story? This story, like, it's just confusing. Well, I won't spoil his ultimate end goal because it's actually a nice bit of clever writing, something different for the show. Although, at the last possible minute, it randomly changes to be all about taking over the world. Like, that doesn't make any sense. It comes out of nowhere and tanks the otherwise good writing up till this point. The final Battle of Wits was entertaining enough, great use of imagination, and is admittedly a better example of that weird oldest game from the lackluster recently released Netflix Sandman series. Ugh. Well, that'll piss off a few people. Some other interesting tidbits about this episode. Most people who have already watched this know about the Jamie replacement. So, Jamie's actor, Fraser Hines, was pretty crook with smallpox, I think it was, for like a week or 2. So they brought in a new actor to replace him for an episode. Which is funny, because rather than come up with a stupid reason like they did for the few times that William Hartnell couldn't portray the first Doctor, they wrote an extra scene where Jamie gets frozen and the Doctor has to piece his face back together and gets it wrong, which is why he looks different and sounds different, because we know he's played by a different actor. They literally just wrote it into the plot. Probably helped with the pacing as well. Alright, quick, we can add an extra scene here. That's just wild.
Yes. Oh no, I've done it wrong! Well, your face, it's different.
What do you mean, different?
Well, look in the mirror. That's not my face.
I liked the made-up fictional character from a fairy tale from Zoe's world, which makes sense. Why would all these fictional creatures only be from Earth's myth and legends? He's a character from a comic strip in the far-off future, in the year of 2000. Garfield? And finally, I loved the sets. Both the location shots and the indoor studio sets looked great. Special mention to the giant book that almost squishes Jamie and Zoe. Between that and the really well done stop motion Medusa head, I half expect both of them to be reused in a different project, whether it be in or out of Doctor Who. And that's the Mind Robber. I'll admit, after the drawn out opening, I started to find myself getting a bit sick of the randomness, and I just wanted to know what was going on. Oh, not to mention Zoe's constant screaming was just annoying. This also leads into a separate but familiar issue. Yup, for the first time in ages, the blisteringly loud sound effects return. Only this time, instead of being one specific sound, like a bird chirping or squeaky floors, it just sounds like all of the sound effects in general were just mixed quite poorly. A lot of sudden popping noises when characters were speaking. Not a big deal, but still worth noting. Other than that, it was a perfectly good time. Not quite as enthralling as the Dominators, but still keeping up the above average quality. Thank you so much as always for watching. I am so excited to return to one of the only other Patrick Troughton stories I've already seen, The Invasion, aka my boys the Cybermen return with a new redesign and a few familiar faces. Hopefully you'll see me then.